You haven't really used a whole lot of skill at this point anyway.
So, what all were you saying that he did besides not participating in the appointments?
I just, he seems like depressed and detached, and I'll just ask him like to share his feelings and thoughts about like this pregnancy or like the loss of the last one, and he just says, "I'm fine," like, and he makes it like it's my problem, like I'm nagging him.
Okay. And he hasn't talked to anybody else, it's just been you?
No, I mean, I have my mom and my girlfriends and like a support group online, but like, doesn't seem not that I know of that he's talked to anyone, and he won't really talk to me.
And he doesn't have any guy friends that have had children or anything experience like this?
He does, and I've like tried to get him to reach out to them, and he just says, no, I'm fine.
But the way he's acting, he's not very fine.
No, it's not the same as the last pregnancy. I don't feel like I've gotten my husband back. He's just not the same.
So it's like he's still healing.
Yeah, I feel like he's still healing, but he feels like I'm making a big deal out of it and everything's fine. Now I'm nagging him.
Okay. And what kind of stuff do you say that nags him? Like, is it just you wanting to talk to him or see how he feels?
Asking him about his feelings, or like I'll ask him to do something, like come to a doctor's appointment or work on the registry or something like that, and he doesn't want to, and then like that'll initiate like, like why don't you want to, or like are you still having trouble with the lesson? That's when he gets frustrated and he's just like, I'm fine.
And what all did you do to help you recover or heal from the loss?
I'm like really a verbal processor, so I mean I talked a lot with my friends and my mom, and joined that like support group online, and just really learning more about miscarriages and how common they are, like has really like made it feel like I'm not alone, like I'm not the only one. And then learning that many miscarriages are caused for a reason, like that there might be something wrong with the baby, has kind of helped me come to terms with it, that maybe this just really wasn't a healthy child.
Did he know all of this? Like, did he
just doesn't want to talk about any of it.
So he hasn't tried looking at any of the support groups that you did or anything like that? So when you said that you healed differently than him, did you guys heal together at all, or was it just him?
He like hasn't engaged in that process.
So you think he still is thinking about the last pregnancy?
Or yeah, that, or he's blocking it out. He's not himself.
Okay. So what did you guys do with all of the old stuff that you bought that you said he helped get everything together?
Yeah, we still have some of it. We returned some of it, but that was a girl and this is a boy. Okay. So like I thought he'd get really into like a theme or something. I keep sending him like, stuff on Etsy about like Star Wars or superheroes, and he just hasn't done anything.
Does he respond to anything? Like, is it through text message?
Yeah, he just ignores them.
So you told me that he's been distant, you've healed, but you don't think he has. So was it him that wanted you to come in here, or was it your own decision?
No, he wanted me to come because he just thinks I'm making this big deal out of everything, and I think honestly that he thinks you're gonna tell me like, he's fine and that I'm nagging him and it's my problem.
And you are fully healed. You feel like you're okay with everything now?
Well, I mean, it's a constant process, but like I feel like I've really done a decent job letting it go and really embracing this new pregnancy. I think that my biggest problem is that he won't, he wouldn't grieve with me, and he hasn't engaged in the new baby.
So do you feel that during this grief process that instead of having him with you, you had the rest of your family, and you feel like he didn't experience what you did?
Yeah, he was just disengaged, and I really went to, since he wouldn't talk about it, I went to friends and my mom for help and support group.
So you don't feel like he has fully understood where you're coming from and how important this is and how much of a loss it was?
No, I think he knows it's a big loss and everything. I just think that he wants me to stop talking about it, and he's pretending he's fine and he's not.
And besides him being distant and not paying attention, like not wanting to participate in any of the other things, does he act weird around his friends, or does he like still go to work normally?
He hasn't been hanging out with his friends a lot, and he's just really like watching a lot of TV, which isn't like him. I feel like he's just avoiding life.
What does he normally do besides? Do you feel like
he's
the TV's isolating him?
Yeah, like he's usually involved in like a kickball rec league, but he didn't want to sign up this fall, and he has friends from work who like to do like bourbon tasting and stuff, and they like hop around each other's houses, but he hasn't gone to any of those since we lost the baby.
And do you think this is his way of maybe still grieving?
Yeah, part of the grieving I just don't think it's healthy because he's not talking to anyone and he's isolating and he refuses to admit like that there's a problem, So that could be part of his process. I just don't think that it's helpful.
You don't think it's healthy for him? Like he's just thinking too much on his own?
It's not healthy for him, and him not sharing anything with me is not healthy for our relationship.
So you feel like this really strains your relationship?
Yeah, we're going into like this new adventure together of being parents, and I need my partner back, and he's just not there.
Do you think when the baby comes, he'll be more supportive? It's
Yeah,
like a reality check?
I hope so, but I don't know.
So you told me that he's distant, you lost your baby, you said 24 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and that's pretty far along.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't give you any answers to what caused it. I know you said that there's a possibility there was something wrong with the baby.
Yeah, I learned that more on my own. The doctors didn't really.
Alrighty, so
Do you
really
care
good
if
stuff.
I keep this going?
No, that's fine. So you have the feedback.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. So you did a really good job reflecting content to direct your questions. Like you would take something she said and then put that straight into questioning. You had good interpreting a couple different times. You said, so you feel like he's still healing, which was really nice because she was complaining a little about him. Like she feels hurt and she feels distant. And so instead of sort of going the complaint route, you were like, so you feel like he's still healing, and she immediately jumped on board with you. She was like, yeah, he is healing. Like, so you could see that she pulled in. So that was really nice with that. You later then said, is this his way of grieving? And so again, just sort of putting those together. So I felt like those were both two really good interpretations. Good move to explore how the client is recovering. I liked how you shifted straight in to talk to me a little bit about what she's gone through, because I think sometimes she is upset and she's isolated and she's alone. And he's not supporting her, and I do think it's the unresolved grief.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, I think he's
this whole
terrified.
time.
Like he's just like, I had all my hopes and dreams in this, and it didn't work, and I can't get hurt again. So he's just putting up that defense mechanisms, and he's pulling away from her too, unfortunately. So she's really isolated, and I want to know that she's okay. So that's really, really good that you went into that, because I think sometimes there's a tendency to want to stay on him so much because she wants to stay on him.
I was trying to shift it because every time I asked, I was like, she's talking about him. I'm like, there's
him.
something with her.
So that was nice. But the way she talked was very healthy. I mean, you know, she was like, I mean, that was a girl and this is a boy. And yes, you know, I've been to this. When she said that about the blogs and she's got her family and stuff, I mean, she really has done, it sounds like she's done a lot of the work. It still emotionally is heavy. And so that's something to think about. But she did a good job. You did a good job with that. A lot of folks are getting lost by the shiny object of the man. And I want you, so it's good that you came back to her. So that was really nice. Let's see, where was it? Good reflection of feeling. You do not feel as if he knows where you're coming from and that this is a loss. And so she did pick up on that he doesn't really know where I'm coming from, but she said, but he knows it's a loss.
Yeah.
So she kind of pushed back on it, which is okay, because that happens sometimes when we reflect feeling. And so it was nice that, you know, she didn't look at you and be like, are you listening at all? Like, it shows that she has a good therapeutic alliance started with you. And so it's really nice. I also felt like you did a good job of kind of enlisting her cooperation. Like, obviously that's something you do over time, but you weren't like siding with him. Well, do you know how he feels? You know, there was none of that.
I was like thinking, and I'm like, I know that's how some people process. And I was like, but I know, like, it's separate, like, it's different.
It is,
and the way they process. That have suffered it, so I'm like, I understand.
Yep, that's it, and she gets it. You know what I mean? Like, she's like, I think he's just tired of me talking about her work. But the thing of it is, just because he processes differently doesn't mean he doesn't have to still support what she needs. And so that's where we're really starting to get that disconnect between the two of them. So a couple things I didn't see that I want us to put in there. So didn't have an opportunity for confronting.
Okay, that's
one of the things. Yeah, you didn't pull that. One of the things you could have confronted is the fact that she has this ambivalence. She came right in and said to you, I don't really think I need to be here. But yet she does think she needs to be here. So we could kind of pull at that and be like, you know, there's kind of some ambivalence here. Help me understand what's going on. I didn't hear communicating feelings of immediacy. So something like, you know, I'm kind of worried about you. I just want to make sure that you have gotten through all the work and that everything's okay. So something really upfront like that. Self-disclosure, where you might say something like, I don't know, maybe if I were in that position, I would feel kind of alone and isolated. Is that what you're feeling?
I actually wrote that in my notes. I just didn't do it. And I was like thinking about everything I gotta
trying
do.
to get it all in, and everybody does. It's so funny because I can hear you guys. I'm like, oh, that was from class. Oh, that was from, I know why you're trying. I know you are. And just so we're clear, just because you didn't get a specific skill in doesn't mean it's not a good session. Really, that the point of the final is really like, okay, here's what you learned all semester. You have to show me all of it, but it still doesn't mean you're not doing it right. So don't get lost in that. So the other two skills that I didn't see summarization because we ran out of time.
I know. I was trying to get into
I could
it.
tell.
Like it was more of a rephrase than a summarization.
It was only a couple. And you know what? I thought you were going to do it. I was like, yes,
I was
got it.
Right
and
there. I had a feeling.
And
I was like, time's about to run out.
Yep.
And I was like, dang it.
Yep. So the summarization needs to be more global. And then I think if you'd done the summarization, I think you could have gotten the information giving. And so you didn't get to that either.
That's what Dylan was telling me when we walked out. He was like, summarization. I'm like, okay.
So those are the ones that I didn't see. So really summarization, confronting, communicating immediacy, self-disclosure, and giving information. Going into your final, I'm going to give you guys that opportunity to kind of just give me the timestamps and then talk to me about what you didn't use, okay?
Okay.
And then from that, you know, kind of talk to me about how you would engage, just briefly. I don't need tons of stuff. Just give me a sentence or two that kind of goes over it. But just kind of talk about that. And then more importantly, even if you lose points in the video, the final paper is what's worth so much. If you follow that rubric and you do everything, all of those prompts, you get the points for that. Okay, so you don't have to worry about it. I'm not seeing anything that's making me concerned or doesn't think you should go on. So looks really good. Okay, so good job.